And we're live. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is the Dash Force Three Amigos podcast, where you get to hear the three of us chew the fat, talk about what we've been up to, and generally talk about anything that's going on in the crypto space, specifically Dash. Now, we do have a live chat going, so anything you want us to talk about, bring up, say hi. Oh, we'll look for clarifications on stuff you've seen in the news or anything else you want to do. Pop into the live chat. This is a live podcast, and hope you have a good time. Strap yourselves in, and the emergency exits are, I think, Alt F4, right? All right. How's it going? So we have myself, Joel, and then we have Mark. Say hi, Mark.
Hello.
And then, of course, we have Brian. Say hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
There we go. See, not a very good libertarian at all, following orders so easily. All right, so we got a few people in the live chat. There's a couple. Hi guys. There's a couple questions that are coming in, and we'll save those for a little bit after our intro. First, yeah, it's been one heck of a week, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Sure has. Would you guys like to hear the network stats like I did last week?
Yeah.
Just to start us off.
I want to hear about the hash rate.
Do you know what? I actually did it for you. That's what I was doing when we were sorting out the microphone. So unless something's drastically changed in the last few minutes, the current Dash price is $192. We've got 4,509 active master nodes. There's only eight days remaining left to vote for proposals. The Dash treasury budget currently is standing at just under 1.3 million. There is currently 10 approved proposals out of 25. So there's only 8 days left. So if masternode owners watching, get voting. And yes. Oh, and finally, new addition, masternode owner payments. I quickly just went into the Dash Nation Slack to do the old MBE to work out the earnings. So masternode owner payments, this is per month before any expenses, hosting expenses, is currently $1,360. And just for Joel,
My goodness.
the terahash is 5.4 for miners that are interested.
Nice. I think it went up to, I swear I saw almost up to 7. It got really high. It's been pretty crazy.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff going on. It's Dash is still like broke that $200 barrier a couple different times, and then Ethereum kind of like dragged everything down for a little while, which was mildly annoying. But hey, yeah, let's briefly go over that thing because it has interesting implications for Dash, right? So Ethereum seems to mainly the highest use currently seems to be ICOs, initial coin offerings, when a company makes a bunch of tokens and does a big crowd sale to fund development. And this ICO mania is like starting to get into full swing when you just got people dumping stuff on the network. And then basically what happened from the status ICO over this past week just took basically the whole coin offline for like a whole day or something. It was pretty crazy. And fees spiked so that Ethereum's average fee was higher than any other coin except Bitcoin. Yes, even higher than Monero's. It's usually been a little bit lower, but it went higher, a few bucks average fee. And yeah, so scaling issues are all the rage right now, right? Bitcoin is trying to do its SegWit 2x upgrade, right? Which will hopefully alleviate some transaction things, but Ethereum getting clogged up there with these sudden bursts. And that's a really good thing about Dash is that, I mean, obviously having 4 times the network capacity of Bitcoin is just, similar to Litecoin. That's already a good start. But the thing about instant transactions, right? If you use instant send, you get that transaction locked for the next 24 blocks, right? So for about an hour, right? So what that means is if there's a sudden ICO mania, you flood the for one thing, there's no ICOs on the Dash platform, right? I mean, I'm sure some could offer Dash is a way of doing it. But anyway, what that means is you can just get all these transactions locked that need to go through quickly in like a time of very high congestion within certain limits. You can just lock all the transactions that need to be locked, right? That you need to go through, and everything else you can just, I'll just wait until it all catches up later. You can just do that easy prioritization without having to worry about shelling out a bunch of money. You can just pay the normal about 2 cent, 1.5 to 2 cent currently Dash fee, or you can pay like 20 cents and it goes instantly. You don't have this huge fee market just driving up the fees. And you don't have this uncertainty. Oh, I'm going to pay a lot and let's see if it goes through.
You said something about Monero. I did see something I was reading on Reddit.
Yeah, interesting stuff on Reddit.
Yeah, it's all true. They said something about the more that people use Monero, somehow that the fee will go down, which that didn't really make any sense. Did y'all see that?
I didn't see that, but that sounds ridiculous.
It sounds interesting. Yeah. Well, I think it has something to do with the variable block size. And of course, I'm not a Monero expert by any stretch of the imagination. And if there is one in the audience, right, then I would definitely, I would definitely welcome a little bit of schooling on the matter.
It was in response to your article, that article that you did, I believe, is where I saw it about one of your articles. Yes, I don't know if it's that older one or one more recently. Yeah, it was about the.
Yeah, it's probably a good time to probably plug that article as we're talking about the Ethereum. So if you go to dashforcenews.com this week, there was an article called ICO Mania Grinds Ethereum to a Halt, Scaling Issues Not Limited to Bitcoin. And we should probably give a quick thank you to Moo and CoinGun, aka Jeff, who fielded some difficult questions that Joel had for them. So it was pretty last minute, so appreciate that as well. But yeah, that was an interesting article. So make sure you do check that out.
Yeah, so, thanks, especially Mookow, for breaking down how instant send works and Dash's actual network capacity, and it all gets very technical to even where a lot of developers have like from my understanding, kind of understanding, and there's no easy questions with how a network works sometimes, right? But yeah, so just to lay through the variable block size thing, from what I understand, Monero has a variable block size, so it sort of grows and shrinks with the transaction loads. And so if there's only, I would guess, if there's only a few transactions going through, you sort of need to pay a higher fee. The miners would only, would want a higher fee to be able to be sustained for that. But once you have a high amount of traffic, right, then in theory, right, you could lower that fee. The fee could be lower and the miners would still maintain profitability. Now, of course, the thing is, what happens, as far as I know, Ethereum has something similar of a variable block size. And this is where I go to the deep waters where I don't know jack, right? It's something about it gets set by miners based on what they're willing to do and blah, blah, blah. But whatever it is with Ethereum, it ended up being full blocks, right? And very full blocks. And I don't know if Monero would run into the same issue long term. Of course, this all remains to be seen, but obviously, the other thing with expensive transactions is it just has to do with how much data you're processing. If you have a Dash transaction, right, and you could do 50 Dash transactions for the same amount of space, right, the same amount of kilobytes or whatever as a single Monero transaction. So it might be a blessing in disguise if you think, because it might cause the scalability issues to be forced and solved much earlier than Bitcoin's.
I'm sure we could do, the variable block size if it works out or whatever. I mean, we can just do it ourselves. So
unfortunately,
anything that works.
With Monero, it's not so simple because a lot of it is encrypted. So, for example, you might have seen on my Twitter that I shared a chart of the average transaction fees. Now we can work that out, okay? But obviously, with the average transaction fees, to really get to the nitty gritty of it, you've got to work out the sort of average transaction value as well. And with Monero, you can't just work that out. And where I get that data from is from bitinfocharts.com. So yes, we can see the average transaction fee, but we can't see that other data because it's encrypted with Monero, right? So it is a bit difficult to do. Other coins, much easier to do. But
yeah,
you know, but then again, I don't want to spend giving too much airtime to Monero.
yes.
I really like that site, that Bit Info Charts. That's a great site. Lots
Love
of info. Yeah.
Yes. So as Chuck Williams points out in the live chat right now, all mined coins with blocks will run into scalability issues. And watch for the upcoming roadmap plan coming from Evan. It includes, and which, by the way, next Tuesday I'm interviewing Andy Freer, the CTO and the head of the evolution development, on video. Woo! So it's going to be a good time. So I expect to be putting that out about 11 a.m. on Wednesday, right? The completed video. Be interviewing him on Tuesday. So it's going to be a nice big welcome update. I hear a lot of cool stuff is happening. Anytime Evan gets involved, stuff gets interesting, which obviously Dash came from Evan, but it's also, he has such an interesting mind that's like 5 steps ahead of everything. And we're all here just trying to do the best with what we have and understand things, and then start thinking, well, what about this? What about that? And then Evan's 5 steps ahead for like a scalability solution. It's and yes, Chuck, Andy is going public. Apparently, unless he's a dirty liar, he's one of the two. Right? So that's the thing with sometimes you wonder, what if the Bitcoin core team had brought on Evan Duffield, right? And what if he was allowed to be a major contributor to that? Where would we be today, right? And of course, assuming a perfect world, everything would be pretty good. And but the thing is, what if Bitcoin ran into this scaling issue due to lack of governance, and Evan was stuck trying to put all his hard work into a community and a system that just was not providing a great return on investment for that time? So yeah, that's good. And as Chuck says, Evan lives 15 years in the future. He looks back on now as history. yeah, pretty much.
He does. He is way ahead, and I know he has to kind of not kind of keep stuff on the down low, so it doesn't. Some of the ideas don't get stolen by competitors. So we get stuff slowly leaked out. I guess when we need to know, he'll tell us.
Yeah, and that's an important thing, because the whole concept, and this is like another several hour discussion, so I can't spend too long on that. The whole concept of ownership and open source together is interesting for cryptocurrency, right? Because when you're creating a technology, right, we can't work for free. I mean, some people can work for free, but eventually you have to work for money and then do that in your side job, right? But usually you get paid, you try to get donations, whatever, to code cool stuff. And if someone just takes your code, it's not like an open source software where people can just keep on making better and better software, because you can take it and then hijack the network effects, right? Because these are network currencies, network technologies. And so someone's taking your ideas, taking your tech, and putting it to another network is a real thing. And I think it's a good thing to a certain degree, but it does sort of disincentivize innovation to a certain point when someone copies your code and is able to surpass your network effect and just keep on copying off you. So there has to be some sort of way of allowing everything to be open source while still maintaining your competitive lead in whatever you're doing. Basically, making sure you keep on having a job to keep innovating.
Yes.
Okay. There's a question higher up here that I'd like to that Chuck also brought up that you'd like us to discuss. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the CMO proposal if you guys haven't already discussed. So I'll let someone else start off that one.
Yeah, I left a comment there. I was really encouraged with the response from Dash Disciple, but I can't pull it up. But I'll summarize it basically that I think it's something like that is needed. I would rather see it run by someone known in the community. At least the recruitment and management of this person run by someone known in the community or core themselves. Because yeah, we got to be careful about turning everything over to a group of new people, very vocal, some great ideas on their end, but we don't know who they are. And we have to just be careful of that. The review committee stuff and then the CMO thing. And I mean, those are two really, really big things that could lead to conflicts with core and could lead to people wanting to replace the core team, saying that there's that's the wrong direction. It could just lead to so much infighting and stuff. But yeah, I would rather see it run by either core or somebody that in the community that everybody knows that has some sort of expertise in the area, but is not the CMO themselves, but can recruit someone like that.
Yeah, something I'd like to sort of point out on all that is it's interesting because Dash is a unique animal. It's not a completely open source system. It has some kind of structure and ownership around parts of it in ways, but at the same time, it's absolutely not a company or a centralized organization. So it's not like Bitcoin where you just who's going to hire a CMO of Bitcoin or whatever.
Okay, I think I'm going to try and play good cop. So
yes,
we can give you our opinions, but as we obviously represent Dashforce and have a news website, want to try and keep a balanced point of view. This proposal did take me by shock. It was kind of completely unexpected. But my gut feeling was at the time was thinking, oh, okay, they must have run this by core, right? Because that's what you would assume. You'd have that discussion. And I think from going from 0 to 100 without having any discussion or anything and going straight into proposal seems quite brash. And the core seems to be completely, wasn't consulted about it at all.
Well, they have tried to reach out. They've tried to reach out, but yeah, there probably should have been like a pre-proposal. Yeah,
after the proposal went live, though, and I don't know. I mean, like, obviously we're not core, but I think a dialogue and a communication really kind of would have been helpful for that situation, because it forces the hand, right? And good or bad, whatever the community decides will be, right? But there's no getting around that they will have to be communicate with the core team. So really, in my point of view, is that if they're going to be marketing and they're going to be talking to press contacts, they have to play that. They have to be right in the center of core. So actually, it kind of makes sense to actually go under the Dash core sub DAO, right? Because the Dash DAO is not Dash core. You got Dash core comes underneath. It's a sub DAO organization. So as Ryan Taylor has mentioned about the HR company that they were contracting out to use, I think the kind of job description and the specifications of what they should be doing and what not should be a community conversation, not kind of like dictated on just the proposal, like they need to do this, they need to do that, we want this, we want that, blah, 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 blah. Because no one's had a chance to have any input. The proposal's up on live, and it's kind of like, it's too gung-ho. And it's just like, it would have been nice to have input and feedback.
Yeah, there's a couple issues there. A couple different things. The first thing, just on the marketing thing, which I'd like to sort of finish off on, and so we can get to talk about governance, right? Marketing for Dash it's like, what should Dash do to market? First, you have to define Dash, right? Dash can't market itself, sort of. It has to be things pop up in the ecosystem that help maybe market the greater Dash, what it is. Dash core, which is involved with all the code specifically. I mean, other things obviously, but specifically the code and the basic technology around Dash. That can be something that can be marketed and have it, and it would make sense to have an in-house marketing director to market Dash core. All these things, you have to be specific about what's going on. And I think that over time, it takes a little bit of time getting into the community to sort of realize how Dash is not just one entity, and you can't treat it as one entity. You have to sort of, when you're thinking, we need a CMO. Well, does Dash Core need a CMO? Does the Dash Force need a CMO? Does there just need to be a nebulous marketing department somewhere else in the Dash ecosystem that just sort of markets everything under it? Like, depending on the answer to that, what do we do about Dash CMO thing? The answer to that depends on that first question, and answer that first question of like, what exactly are we talking about with marketing? And I do like, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, the core and the Dash Treasury guys are going to have to get together because they're not going away. They have some good ideas, some stuff that I'm not too keen on, but they got some good ideas, and I was encouraged by their response to the CMO. The CMO thing is not, it's just a question. It's not really a proposal per se. I mean, there's no real funding involved. Last I checked, I think they're just wanting their money back. But yeah, they do realize that they are new. I don't think they realized that at first, maybe, but I think they're now realizing that they're going to have to start much slower. But they got some great ideas, and they just, yeah, in the response to me, they said, we realize that, you know, we're new here, blah blah blah, and that yes, they just want it done. They said we don't. They kind of said that they don't even want to do it anymore. That they'll leave it up to somebody else. They just wanted to get the question out there, which is good.
That's the thing. Without having that conversation with Core, with Evolution around the corner, they may already have plans and stuff already in place for that, right? We already know Ryan Taylor had that $20,000 TV commercial that he was kind of going to line up for it, and he's kind of keeping the storyboard and that secret. So this is why I was trying to emphasize the point that it would make sense to be within Core. It's just like next week, right? On Tuesday, Joel's finding out for Dash Force about what the evolution roadmap is. So you need to be, you know, inside the kind of group and have those communication relationships beforehand, because who's going to, let's just say it passes and people want to do it, right? So then we don't know how the recruitment process is going to go, who's going to do it, whether master owners are going to be involved in the recruitment process, have a say in who it is, what that process should even be. And I just feel like there's so many questions that need to be answered first before even, I mean, it's good there's no problem asking a question, but it just seems like Core's had no involvement with this at all. And I'm curious to see what they think, because obviously with the evolution roadmap and everything coming out, they've aligned to a certain roadmap, which understandably we don't know yet. Yet obviously people in the community is starting to get impatient and they're wanting other things to be done. So
yeah. I'm thinking it's a two-way street a little bit too. Core is pretty busy and overworked right now, and as a result of that, and I'm sure other factors as well, there's been very limited communication between the Core team and the rest of the community, especially when you contrast the cryptocurrency space. I don't know if it's just the tech industry in general. I'm not that familiar, but for example, all the major heads of projects and CEOs of blockchain companies and stuff, they're tweeting out a bunch of times a day. They have a very public presence on Twitter, and there's trust that's built around that because people feel like they have a relationship with what's going on, and they can just ask the CEO of, say, Jax. They can ask the lead developer of Zcash, right? They can just go there and just communicate to one of these very heads and get an instant answer. I mean, obviously with restrictions to who has the bandwidth to do stuff, but there is virtually no, for an easy metric, virtually no Twitter presence or in a very limited Reddit presence of anyone high up in Dash Core.
Yeah, right? we need a fluffy pony. I mean, that sounds bad, but we don't have a fluffy pony. Huh?
I noticed he's been tweeting a lot more than he was before, but I would encourage that to be a daily. Yeah, Mark's not liking that.
I'm so triggered right now.
Yeah. Trigger me timbers.
Y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. Like yes. A director of communications type thing.
Oh yeah,
or like
great communicator. I want you to buy Monero. By the way, don't trust whatever I say.
Don't. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's not a marketing strategy I believe would have long-term benefits for Dash. But anyway, we can just, and I doubt Ryan's listening to this right now, but if he is, Ryan, looking at you, get on that Twitter, fill out more of your bio, tweet at least 5 times a week, just some like tweet, and then answer or respond to different people, right? Well, I'll teach you how to use proper hashtags and stuff and mentions. Get on it, because that builds trust in Dash. Right now, there's like a lot of people like, Dash seems scammy or sketchy, and there's no real reason for that except this kind of secrecy almost with the core team, right? It's not really secrecy. It's just there hasn't been a clear communication channel established, and we established that. We're golden.
Yeah, one thing that disturbs me, and I'm the moderator there at our cryptocurrency, and I read a lot of the stuff there. And there's a lot of questions. Oh, what coin should I buy? Every day there's a post about what coin should I buy, and Dash is rarely mentioned. There's a lot of other stuff mentioned, but I think it's because we just don't have the people out there. But we also need not just communication people, we also need people, once again, kind of fluffy pony type people who know the technology. I would like to see Evan get more out there. That would be great, because nobody knows it better than him. Maybe Mukau or some of the others, but we need
those. I'd like to have an actual discussion with the core team about a media strategy and things like that, and just not a media from like a PR perspective, but a media strategy from just like a community involvement thing, like how to get involved with your fans and have your finger on the pulse of the crypto community. But anyway, I'd like to interrupt this discussion for a very special announcement. We have former Dash community member Bill Buster Cassidy in the live chat. Hi, Buster. He says he can't see because he's on shitty T-Mobile, but whatever. He said he came here to hit the thumbs down.
Nice.
Okay. I guess your work here is done.
Yeah, I'd just like to add onto what we was just talking about, because I just wanted to tell you our perspective from Dash Force, because there are communication issues, and I think many of you watching this would be familiar with the former Dash Detailed Spotlight, where you actually got to know some of the people from behind the scenes. And since that's gone, I can see comments in the Dash Nation Slack and Reddit that people feel like that there hasn't been, there's been less communication and they don't really know what's going on. And what I can tell you is recently I have had a conversation with some of the core team members, and I've extended an invite, and the invite has always been there to say that, look, we've got the news website, dashforcenews.com. If anyone in the core team would ever like to do a guest article or like to talk to us, interview us, we're always open to you. It's our job to play that role. And we've extended that invite. Whether they take that is their choice. Now, we are, all of us have our own links within core. We're closer to separate people. But even when I'm involved in terms of press and public relations, if I'm organizing anything or reaching out trying to get an interview somewhere else, I have to work with core directly, because they might be out and about different locations, or something else might be involved in that time. So it kind of goes hand in hand back with the marketing and communication. And I agree with Joel, even just a weekly update on just Twitter, just a recap, just once a week would be so much better than what we're getting now. And it seems like a lot of people are relying on Dash Force News for their daily content, which is great. I would, from my point of view going forward, I would like some of Dash Core to have a voice on our news website, whether it's just a weekly post or whatever, or even, we might start moving more towards the spotlight video things just to find out the information, just like with the evolution roadmap. So we're always open to feedback. You're the community, and we aim to please and deliver results. So
yes, so as part of that, right, I've been sort of taking over the spotlight video to a Dash Force and Focus to start interviewing people in the community. And especially, I'm sure that's going to lean heavily core team member, because there's just that's the most pertinent thing to that. The most pertinent figures in the Dash community are, of course, the core developers or team members. So obviously, starting with Andy next week, and hopefully I can get Daniel Diaz on that stuff too. Hopefully I can get everyone. I'd like to interview Mukamu at some point, but I don't know if people like to see his face unless it's live. If he likes people to see his face if it's not live.
Yeah. Should we switch up the subject? Because
yeah, why not?
We're going to have to play good cop, bad cop. And this ties in to the end of last week's episode where Joel gave a passionate plea to the community to...
And let me just interrupt and just say, I don't remember a single thing I said last week. It was just vomited out. It's gone from my brain. So please be gentle with the recap. I was not under the influence of any substance during the time, so don't worry. It was from the heart, but I just forget. 2
words, Charlie Shrem. So basically, it was kind of a plea to the community to please stop asking questions and be patient and wait. But yesterday on the news website, you probably saw we had a story that Payza, which is the people behind Charlie Shrem's proposal and Dash debit card, integrated 50 new cryptocurrencies, including Dash. Now, beforehand, I just need to point out, since 2014, Payza has been supporting Bitcoin, and they had like a top-up card. So I don't know what the situation is with Charlie Shrem. Once again, I see on Reddit, on Dash Nation, people are asking questions like, what does this mean? If Payza are the people that were kind of in charge of the fees, and you can get a card from them that has the Dash thing, doesn't that kind of make Charlie Shrem irrelevant? Like, what's going on? So,
yes,
Joel, I know you've got something.
Yeah, that's where I'd sort of urge a little bit of patience. Charlie indicated that he would give an update next week, mentioned something about he'd been working with Core on a thing. It's some really cool thing, and he'd think we'd be surprised, we'd like it. So I like to. That's the thing is, obviously I come from a journalistic background as well, and a lot of the news stories, news stories on Dash Force News are indeed journalistic pieces. Part of it is you want to make sure you have all the facts, and when whatever facts you don't have, you end up, you do with what you can, and you don't represent something you're not sure of. So what we know right now, right? We know Charlie was going to put in a proposal for some money for a Dash card, right? Dash branded debit cards, something about some mention of cheaper fees or whatever, about 3 months. It's been about 3 months, right? And then we knew it was going to be through Payza, right? Part of a Payza thing. So what we know right now is Payza now has the ability to use Dash to load, among other cryptocurrencies, to load their card, right? You can load your Payza card with Dash now. So there is a Payza card that you can spend Dash with. Now, between that and whatever Charlie's hoping to do, there's a big gray area. Not necessarily a gap. Like, he promised all this cool stuff. Payza's card does a little bit, but not all that. Like, there's a lot of, we just don't know, right? What are the fees going to be on the Payza card? Are they going to be less on the Dash one, right? How do you even get a Payza card? I assume you get a Payza account and email them, say you want a card, but there's very little Payza card information out there. In fact, I'll be honest, I don't even know if a Payza card is like a specific card itself these days, or if it just refers to one of many cards that use Payza or plug into it. There's a lot of gray area in there, and since Charlie's on the inside, right, the ultimate resource, when he comes up with his announcement next week, I want to see what it is, and then after that I want to pick his brain and ask a lot of hard questions, because there might be some hard ones.
So
yeah,
he's given an announcement next week then. That's crystal.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, let me leave it to me, otherwise I'll put him on blast and say, dude, you're just screwing with us, man.
Yeah, the fees have to be, that would be a big problem if the fees are not cheaper for Dash than they are for these other cards, because that was part of the reason we paid for it. And then there was talk of some kind of a payback. I forget what they call it. And then the community said, no, we don't want that. So he said that he would then, instead of doing that, he would get the fees as low as they can be. So if our fees are not lower than these other cards, then that's a problem.
My worry is that he's obviously dependent on Payza, right? So if we already know he's got his own domain name, and with that comes with costs and stuff as well. if he's going to issue his own debit card as well, the Dash branded one that he showcased, then obviously it would make sense for him to, as a business, that he's going to put money on the top right. Otherwise, what's the point doing what he's doing? So he's got to skim something off the top, right? Otherwise, I can't.
I don't know. He's already been paid. I mean, he's been paid to do this. I don't think there's.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm just thinking about the fees on the debit card itself.
Yeah, he shouldn't have. He shouldn't be getting a piece of the fees. I mean, we paid him to.
Well, it better be pretty. It better be pretty darn cheap, because from the proposal, it appears that he not only asked for all this money in, not only did he get all this money to create the card and launch the program, but part of it was like maintenance and technical support and things to like run the card. And I believe there was a mention of submitting another proposal for continuing reimbursement for doing this. So it seems like he's expecting, or at least at the time was expecting, to be subsidized by the Dash Masternode network for quite some time. And you don't subsidize a product that then you get money from as well. Like, the subsidy is being paid. So in order for that to make any kind of economic sense, right, I really think that it has to be pretty much free or close to free to the Dash user, because they are the ones who ended up paying for it, right? Otherwise you're double paying. It's like you pay taxes to the government and then they sell you something. It's like, well, couldn't I just buy that? Or if it's already paid in my taxes for it, shouldn't that be free then for me? Like, the double pay is kind of a, I don't know. I just hope the Dash doesn't end up double paying for this.
I didn't vote for the Charlie Shrim card. I didn't vote against it. Oh. No, I did not vote against it either. I was going to give him a chance to see, but I asked several times, what are the fees going to be? What are the fees going to be? What are the fees going to be? And also ask about instant send integration, and I never got an answer. So I just couldn't vote for something like that. We've already got cards. He promised low fees, so I didn't vote against it. But I didn't vote for it without having that information. That seemed crazy to me. But it got lots and lots of votes, and now I do see some people expressing regret about those votes. But we don't have all the information yet. I'm still giving him the benefit of the doubt. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's the other thing about all the speculation. People have been screaming about. People have been calling Charlie a scammer for months now, which is kind of funny. Since, like, what it's just not yet. It's just like. It's like if you take an Uber to your destination, right? Like a third of the way through the drive, you just start saying he's a kidnapper. He's kidnapped you off to foreign lands. It's like, well, you haven't gotten there yet. It's not like it's delayed. It's not the time to call scammer yet, right? And
he's got another week.
Yeah, or another week or another week. Yeah, and he always gave an estimate. It wasn't a hard deadline. He says, I'm estimating I can have it at about 3 months. And so it's been about 3 months. So if it's like 4 months, that's a little bit out of the about 3 months. If it's like 3.5, couple, some 3 and 3 weeks or whatever, that's within the leeway. But yeah, so that it speaks to a greater thing too, right? How here's a funny way of phrasing this, but how we treat scammers reflects on us as a community, right? And that includes both like how harsh are we with, or understandably harsh we are with people who come trying to take money, and the Jerry Banfields of the world. And glad we dodged that bullet.
All Charlie has to do is deliver the card and have lower fees than the rest of them, and then I'll pretty much be happy with that. They have to be not only lower than the fees on those other cards that Pays just introduced, but lower than all the fees on all the other options that we have. If he can pull that off, then as far as I'm concerned, he's pulled it off. Instant send integration, he never answered that question, but I guess that's something that'll eventually be done. Can't hold that against him, but yeah. That's
also, there's a gulf between insatisfactory service and fraud/theft, right? You could deliver, but just be a bad product that people aren't happy with, but that's not the same as stealing people's money, right? Like if you order a product and it's not as good as you thought it would be, it's not necessarily scamming unless there's like deliberate misleading, etc., and just taking money for something that was never going to be delivered.
Yeah, I wanted to say, just to make it fair to Charlie, I did a bit of experimenting this week with one of the cards. Admit personally, I was kind of looking more forward to, because we kind of knew what the fees would be, and that was the 10x card. So I was kind of getting frustrated. So I actually downloaded the 10x wallet from the Google Play Store, as I'm an Android user. And I'm a little bit frustrated because they talked it up in the proposal saying, we already have the infrastructure for the Bitcoin card. We've got everything in place. So to implement Dash will be much, much faster than Charlie's card. So you should vote for us. And obviously people did. But with the application, it's unfinished. It only has Bitcoin available on there. And it doesn't, some of the link buttons don't work on the application.
It doesn't work.
Now, I did kind of, I signed up with my email. You've got to use your phone number as well. I didn't do KYC because you have to send off documents, but I could clearly see when they've only got one currency with Bitcoin listed, there's no point in me registering until it's up and running, right? So, and also as well, tomorrow, they're meant to be launching that whole new ICO sell-off. So there's probably, Ethereum's probably going to get blocked again tomorrow with transactions, but it's kind of like, just do one thing at once. Just stick to what you said you was going to do, and then do a new project. There's no, I don't mind people multitasking, but when you kind of promise something, and
they have been responsive in the comment section, but I don't necessarily like the answers they've been giving, because the way it was promised was it was going to be out before Charlie's card, blah blah blah. That's what they kept pushing, but the reality of it is no, it's not, and it's not available in the US right now. And it was, I went back and read some of the early on stuff, and that was definitely what they were selling, is that it was going to be available within, the end of the month or whatever, but that just wasn't the case. And you could, at one point it was said that you could order the card and use it for Bitcoin, and then when they added Dash, you could keep that same physical card and it would work with Dash. But none of that kind of happened. But I guess they're kind of getting it going. It's not available in the US, but I don't know, try it in the UK, try it in Canada, and
actually I think Joe did try the application on his side as well, and he's got a US number and it was no go, so he kind of prompted me to do it. But did you guys see like the McDonald's video that they kind of uploaded?
That does look seriously legit.
And I just thought that looks great, I want to do that, and that's why I downloaded the app. It's just like, oh, it's not ready yet. And actually, to be fair, on the Google Play Store, when you bring up the application, it actually says still like under development. So,
Tal was pretty gung-ho on it. Hopefully he can get that and get it going and give us some feedback on it.
I would love to. Come on, let's be
real. Both of you guys.
The fees for that card look the best, right? So, well, obviously we still got to wait for Charlie, but what things we can go on that we do know, it looks really good. So I'm really hoping they can, deliver. But we'll just have to see. Perhaps they're focusing on this whole ICO exchange launch thing they're doing tomorrow. So hopefully after that launch has settled down, they will switch lanes and give a bigger, better update. Obviously, if you're launching a new service, new product, your focus and your media and your social media is going to be more aligned and focused to that rather than updating on the other one. So
the USA card is supposedly coming really soon in Q4, so it's not too far off. But I think it was sold a little bit differently than what was actually delivered. But I believe I asked them about instant send integration in their pre-proposal, and I believe they said that was going to be part of it. When that'll happen, I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder how hard it is to do instant send integration as far as receiving, right? It should be fairly simple, like just say, oh, only require 5 confirmations, right? Because instant send does an instant 5. So they should be able to just, it's confirmed. And really, why do you need to instant send Dash anywhere once it's in your account balance on the 10x thing, right? You just hit the button on the card. Again, this is from my understanding of it, right? You just hit the button on the app and then it just takes it out of your Dash balance, and then there you go. Or does the Dash, like, that would be terrible if you plug the card in and you try to pay with Dash and it has to wait for confirmation, which didn't look like is what happened. But anyway, it should be, as long as you can receive instant send,
Yeah, no, that's right. That's how they do it. They don't take it out until right then. So that kind of, yeah, yeah. But I guess if you wanted to, I guess when you send it ahead of time, you do send it to the wallet, your Dash wallet that they control. So if you had the instant send, then you could basically be standing in line, instant send it to their wallet, and then it would, it would be there quick, and you basically wouldn't have to hold your Dash on a third party.
Yeah, as a side note, when I've used the Shake Pay card before, it was, I was in the parking lot to, go into the coffee shop. And then I was like, oh, yeah, right. I should probably load up some money. So I instant send. I don't know if that affects with Shake Pay, but I instant send to load it. And then I got on my car. By the time I was paying for coffee, it was already loaded. It was, I think, about 7 minutes flat. So I don't know how long of that is to receive or confirm the transaction and how long of it is to load it. But yeah, so
also, well, a shout out to BitCart, because I was kind of tough on them last week. But yeah, I've ordered cards from them again since, and it was a couple of hours. So they seem to be back on track again, and I'm waiting on a package right now.
You're like their number one customer.
I'm like number 2 right here. I don't know. I use them for everything. There's so many things you could like get on Amazon, and if you can save 15% on already what's cheap on Amazon, you can get just about anything you want, right? In fact, I was this close to just hitting up BitCart last night to order like a bulk order of pork rinds because they're notoriously hard to find up in the Northeast, right? Pork rinds being those crunchy little pigskin things that are good, like chip
the
substitute.
Spicy one, yeah, the spicy ones. Those are the good ones.
Yeah, and everywhere in the South and the Southwest, I found them. And then up north, it's like specialty sections, and there's only a few bags. And I always get them all. I like.
I love BitCart over Purse because last night I was on the Prime Pantry, and I was fixing to order some stuff. I held off. I'll order it today. But yeah, you can order Prime Pantry stuff. Somebody at one time had said that you can't order gift cards with the gift card, but actually you can. That may be a virtual gift card you may not be able to order, but you can order the physical ones, because I ordered a physical gift card with that, and but yeah, you can't use Prime Pantry with Purse, so BitCart has an advantage in that.
Yeah, and the good part for me is that one of the most popular gas stations in New Hampshire, where I live, is Irving. And Irving, you could buy gas cards. You buy for like $38 or so, buy a $50 Irving gift card if you use Dash. So I already get like 38 miles to the gallon on my little Honda Civic there. So it's like gas is insanely cheap for me because I just get to save on, and they're always the cheap gas stations around here too. I really wish they'd add either more Irving stations around the country and the world, right? I think there's a few in Canada, but I also just, if more gas stations added those things, right? Or, I mean, gas terminals, the payment terminals, if they could only add cryptocurrency, then we could just leapfrog over that whole thing. And that's the unfortunate thing I've noticed with these debit cards, these prepaid cards. They're very sketchy with gas station terminals, right? Like more modern technology, like for example, Square and things like that, more modern processors are pretty easy going. But the old school ones, right? They're not very finicky. So probably gas stations will be one of the last businesses to jump on the crypto bandwagon.
Yeah. Last week in the podcast, just reminded me. So I was just Googling away on my laptop here. Someone broached the subject of mining, and we all sort of confessed that we hadn't really jumped or delved into that kind of side of Dash before. And it kind of sparked my curiosity because we mentioned Genesis mining, and obviously it's all over YouTube. And the last I heard that all the contracts were still sold out. So there's obviously something going on because everyone's involved. I know Dash Red, he does great videos on YouTube about Genesis mining as well. So I was kind of curious. It's like, is this actually profitable? So I've just had a look on the Genesis mining website, and currently all the Dash contracts are still currently out of stock. So, but you can still see the pricing. So I looked at their biggest package, which is the Graviation package, which is a 2-year Dash mining contract, and it costs $2,250, and that's for 50 mega hash, and with no maintenance fees. Okay, so I went to one of the popular mining calculators to try and work out how much that profit would be. So profit per year on that, as it currently stands, is $4,180 per year. So that means for the 2-year contract, which costs $2,250, that would be $8,360. Now that's if everything stays the same. And one thing that I do want to point out, although I don't have a Genesis mining account and I've not done it, we need to remember here that the mining calculators, that's probably the maximum amount that you would make. And it's also dependent on the mining difficulty as well. Now, over time, the mining difficulty will change and it will get harder. And also as well, the calculation assumes that the Dash price stays the same for the 2-year period. Now, if you'd done this back when, Dash was $40, it's pretty great. But it just shows you how popular Dash is at mining, because it's just been sold out, all the contracts. You can't get anything. So it's obviously number one for a reason.
Yeah, I hear all the other Dash miners are always sold out. The hardware miners with the IB Link and then the Balky or whatever that other one is called.
Yeah, Bacal. Yeah. Yes. So and I should just point out, you can, if the contracts are up and running, you can customize it. So you can just say whatever you want and it will calculate the price. You don't have, they've got free packages and then a custom setting. So I've not done it, but I mean, I'd be interested to know from the people in the comments that do use Genesis mining, are the mining calculators correct? Because for 2-year contract, $2,250, and if that generates $8,360, now of course it's not going to be that because all the variables that I've mentioned, but that does seem it seems in some ways too good to be true. I don't know, what do you guys think about it?
Yeah, that was my thought. It was too good to be true, and I just didn't understand it. We've seen so many scams in the area, but I don't know. I don't know what to think of it.
Yeah.
I'm not mining is not on my radar. Mining is on my radar as long as people keep doing it and everything runs smoothly. So much different than in Bitcoin, where everyone's like, the miners this, the miners that, oh, this pool, that pool, and then Dash is just like, yep, some people are mining, I guess.
It's all about master nodes. It's all about the master nodes.
Yeah,
this is the crazy thing, though. You got to remember, this is using cloud mining, so you're not even getting. You're losing out on a lot of things. If you actually had the miners yourself and you was physically mining it, you'd be making so much more. And so now I understand the bug, and I understand why all the physical actual mining equipment sold out as well. So I'm excited about it. I want to find out more information.
Yeah, I'll look more into it too. As soon as I get my last master node, maybe that'll be where I put some of the profits into this winter. Keep the house heated up a little bit with the miners.
Yeah, I mean, how cold does it get where you're at?
Well, this is the problem as well. Like, being realistic, I can't do this in the UK because UK electricity prices are. I mean, you guys in the US, if you came over and you saw how expensive our electric was, you would laugh. I know you complain about your gas prices, your petrol prices and stuff, but it's a different scene over here. It's a lot more expensive.
Oh yeah.
So,
believe me, I've been over there. Whew.
Yeah. So for mine,
I wonder y'all on little shite cars.
Is a no-go. Yeah, it's just a no-go. And we don't all drive Mini Coopers. That's just a myth.
Yes. The funniest thing, and mild off topic for a second, is the little lorries you see driving around the UK that are like, they're meant to transport things, right? It's like that's where you load up all your furniture and things like that. And they're smaller than most sedans. I had a friend who she had just some 4-door sedan, but it was one of the older, like Mercury whatevers. And I always used to call it her yacht because it looked like a boat. It was like a seaworthy thing. It was like long on the front, long on the back, just like a police cruiser. It just takes up so much space, and it's probably a good deal larger than most of the moving trucks in the UK.
Yeah. I mean, to my understanding, Genesis Mining actually has all its, well, I was going to say data center, but that won't be the right way of saying it. They have their operations based in Iceland, where obviously temperature-wise it benefits them, and I believe electricity costs are pretty beneficial as well. But that reminds me, one of the biggest stories of the week was actually Russia and all the GPU miners being sold out. I think it might have been on Bitcoinist. There was a big article. Individuals are buying hundreds of GPUs. Now, if you're, I used to be a gamer back in the day, but I know how much graphics cards cost, and it's a pretty penny, right? So these people flashing out for the cash, you know, grabbing all these graphics cards. Big story in Russia. There's like a mining mania going on over there. So what the reasons behind that, I don't know. Maybe the exchanges they have there aren't so great, and people prefer to be a bit more secret how they get their cryptocurrency, or it could just be based on greed, and they just know that's the best way to accumulate, which might make perfect sense. So interesting times.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So is there anything interesting in the comments while I was talking?
Yeah, a lot of mining talk. Totally goes around. Oh, I made all this money. I did this and that. And it's funny how the mining gold rush sort of happened in crypto. It was like, it's funny how these waves happen, right? I remember in the beginning, everyone who I knew started mining Bitcoin, right? People had their little teeny netbooks. They were just mining Bitcoin. Everyone's mining Bitcoin. And then by the end of the year, they were all rich, and or something like that. And it just, what can I mine? Then they started mining other coins. And then the next craze that we're sort of in the beginning of is the ICO craze. So I'm gonna do a new ICO. I'm gonna do an ICO for my dog. You know, just everyone's doing an ICO. It's not like, okay, I want to launch a cool project, and the way I'm gonna try to fund this is through an ICO. It's just everyone wants in on the next ICO. It's just all about ICO mania. And then, so let me correct, right? First it was mining. Then it was crypto day trading, right? Trading different, especially altcoins, because they were more volatile. So went from the mining craze to the trading craze, and then it's the ICO craze. We're like right in the thick of it, or I hope this is the thick of it. I don't want it to get any thicker. And then after that, there might be the staking craze, right? Where a lot of coins start moving to a proof of stake kind of thing. So anyone can just buy some and just hang on to it, and it goes up. And then everyone's trying to like buy a ton of some cheap coin, and then just, you know, sort of like a masternode, right? Oh, masternode's only $5,000. I'm going to buy an astronode. Oh, wait, now that same masternode is almost $200,000. Gives me like $1,500 a month in recurring income for life. Wow. Like there's that's why we call it, I've guilty as charged, I've disparagingly called some competitors FOMO coins, because they leverage the major fear of missing out of, well, I missed out on getting into a Dash masternode when it was cheap. Like I didn't believe in Dash. I just was not on my radar. Now I realize that people who did were just making bank. And I wanted that. Like I wanted to roll back time and buy a masternode, but I can't. So I'm going to try another coin that I hope goes as high as Dash. And so I've seen, I know that happened with PivX. And then after that, I saw some marketing thing for some coin that I haven't seen on the charts at all, right? But some marketing thing says, you missed the Dash train, you missed the PivX train, but this coin's train is still at the station. It's like, that's probably when ICO mania goes away. That's probably going to be the next mania. Everything's going to be a staking coin. Everyone's going to be like, get in before it's too late.
Right. Okay. Edward, aka Dash.red, has just asked in the comments, talk about the commercial that is in the proposals, the cartoon, and it's called the Project Jetplane. Now, Joel, have you watched it yet? I know last week you guys hadn't seen it, and you was kind of looking at me a bit weird, like, what the hell is Mark talking about?
But to be fair, I usually look at you a little bit weird. But
just trying to understand me, that's what it is. It's the accent. But yeah, so yes. Have I seen it? Yeah, it's great. And I actually love the video, and I encourage everyone to go to Dash Central, and the proposal is called Project Jetplane. Only 8 days left to vote. I said it at the beginning, and currently it's not approved at the moment. It's got 288 yes votes, 72 no, and 75 abstain. They've actually got an embedded YouTube video of the storyboard, and I absolutely love it. Now, we can't show it on this Hangout because I don't think it would stream well because of broadcasting. But the gist of it is there's a guy waiting in traffic, and he's in a traffic jam, and he's kind of like, you know, and there's like a red traffic lights, and they've all got kind of the Bitcoin signs on because it's slow. And then all of a sudden there's like a woo, and then there's a Dash airplane, not Dash Racer, but pretty similar.
No, not yet.
And it goes up and goes whizzing past, and then it, you know, it gives a nice little mantra about
yeah,
Dash.
and that's all in the Dash Central proposal.
Yes, yeah,
Nice.
they've actually got the YouTube video up on there, and I really like it. In fact, if it gets made, I was actually thinking in the back of my mind, maybe I should talk to Brian and Joel about actually including that 15-second advert at the end of all of our videos, because I kind of like it, but I want to see the finished product. This is still a storyboard. It's in development. There is a video and you can watch it, but obviously with the 3D modeling and animation, it needs to be polished. They're asking for 249 Dash, and it's for a period of 2 months. But they do go into great detail of the whole development process. They are a studio, a kind of a creative studio. I kind of guess you would say that. They've done stuff before. These are the same people that did the Dash short 3D model clip with Bitcoin, and then like Dash comes down and smashes it. It's pretty good. So they seem like nice guys. I hope they get the support. Obviously, I'm biased. You can tell I like the video. And actually, to be fair to them, they actually had 2 ideas. And in the pre-proposal, in the Dash forums, they actually did a poll and they said, here are 2 ideas. Which one do you like the most? And the Jetplane got the overwhelming votes for it. So they have done their due diligence. They have spoken to the community, and they did get good feedback on that video. So now it's just up to the master owners to follow through.
They did good updates. They've kept the good stats and all that. I like that. Yeah, they were really good about that, and that's always good.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely like the way the video. I just looked on it, watched it on mute. Definitely like the way the video looks. It's pretty. It's got a pretty profound message. Although I would try to, depending on when it comes out, I'd definitely add Ethereum to some of the stoplights, right? Maybe not as quite as bad in the congestion, but it depends on the time, you know.
Especially
Ethereum
tomorrow.
might be smooth, but it's got its rush hours, right?
Yeah.
How are we doing on time? Speaking of time, how are we doing
we're
on time?
getting close to be done, I think.
Any more questions?
Yeah, let me just check that real quick.
Last chance, guys. Better get in quick.
Yeah, I got a few people listening. Hi, live chat people. Do you want to go ask us one last question or 2 or 3 or 4 or just one, hopefully?
And while we're waiting for that, we've got Dash Red. It includes but loads of YouTube videos. Yes. Okay. So the proposal of Dash might seem quite high, but they're suggesting they're going to do YouTube ads. They're going to have an advert campaign for that video, and that's included within that as well. So that's important to understand. And they've beforehand in their previous campaigns, they've done that as well. And they showed the breakdown in demographics. And if I remember, they actually pointed out, or Brian's got
my package is here.
Oh, there we go. That's good. I thought that was like the running joke,
BitCart.
but it actually happened.
Yeah.
The running joke, where's my package going to get here? No, it actually is a real package. It actually showed up.
Without fail, BitCart and Amazon always makes it into every episode of the Three Amigos. Without fail, it's just like
Can't pay for this kind of advertising, you know.
Whoa,
So
Joshua's got a question for you, Joel.
Oh yes, if I had to fight 100 red coin sized bitcoins or 1 bitcoin sized red coin, which would I prefer?
Wow,
100.
That's a loaded question.
Yes, a network loaded question. If I'm going to have to go with the 100 red coin sized bitcoins because, you know, I could, by the time they get to where I'm at, it's got to be like half the day. And so I can always outrun them.
Yes.
Right?
Good
I
answer.
don't know about red coin. I saw something mentioned about red coin. What's the deal with red coin?
Well, I know it's not blue.
I know there's a black coin. I remember black coin back in the day. They were in the top 10 at one time, I believe.
Yeah, I came across a site for a Bitcoin Plus advertising. Bitcoin Plus is like, this is, we're all going to get on Bitcoin Plus. And I remember that shot up in the rankings for like a second and then just disappeared. Sounded completely different from Bitcoin, just leveraging the right at the heat of the dissatisfaction with the scaling debate. It was such a weird world we're in. I don't know. How do we even get here? I mean, obviously we have all our Batman style origin stories, but it just,
we had a Bitcoin dark at one time. That was from our dark coin days. They had tried to do a Bitcoin dark. I remember that one. I think haven't seen that one in a long time.
I would just like to give my thanks. That question was from Joshua, but I'd like to say thank you to Joshua as well, because I believe he liked and retweeted something that I put out earlier. I would have liked to discuss Discover Dash a bit more in this podcast, so maybe we'll keep that in mind for the next episode. But,
next episode will have better news by then.
Yeah. Guys, I know I probably spoke about it too long last time about the whole ATM situation, one with General Bytes and one with Bitlish. I'm still on their case. I've actually had some response on both sides, but I did a tweet today. I believe I reshared it on Dashforce on Twitter as well. Sorry, retweeted on Dashforce News as well. So at Dashforce News, all one word, on Twitter is the handle. And basically, I'm just saying to them, do you own a General Bytes ATM that offers Dash? Can you please add it to the Discover Dash map? And I've obviously tagged General Bytes in there to get their attention. I'm still pushing them to email out to all the operators that have Dash, because if we can get all those ATMs listed on the map, it's going to be great. Because at the moment, no one knows they exist. So we need to do it. And also as well, one big announcement is Bitlish. I'm still working on it. I've not had a chance to tell Brian this yet, so hold on to your chair, Brian. So just to recap, Bitlish gave an announcement in the news, and it was widely covered, that 5,000 ATMs are going to be operational by the end of 2017. So that's less than 6 months now, right? Nearly 5 months. And they've already got hundreds operating throughout Europe at the moment, but they're all over the place. They're like General Bytes. They sell the devices. However, we was unsure. I got confirmation today that all of those ATMs are going to offer Dash as well. How great is that? 5,000 ATMs.
Wow.
That is, Joel's going to have to do your Donald Trump ATMs. Huge. Do your Donald Trump huge.
That is huge.
My hands are too big for that, though. But
that's excellent.
Yeah. So the only question on that is, are they like General Bytes that, you can do Dash, or is it going to be something they're just already enabled? And the other question is, will you be able to buy Dash from those, or do the operators actually have to load it?
General
Those
Bytes,
are questions.
Yeah, General Bytes is what you just described. They have to go into the configuration file and decide whether they want to offer that. Now with Bitlish, from what I've been told directly from them, it's operational. And I believe they offer 5 different cryptocurrencies, and they're based in Russia, but they have their headquarters in London. They seem pretty professional, and they've got back to me pretty promptly this time around. And yeah, I'm excited, and I've asked for more info, and I've also pushed them as well. Now, here's the thing. Just like General Bytes, they say they don't hold data on where the locations of all the ATMs are. So once again, same frustration with General Bytes. So I'm just like, okay, no problem. But you have the email and a newsletter to your operators. So can you say to them, advertise, or let the Dash community know that you exist by going to discoverdash.com and add in your ATM location? And so far, it looks like they're going to go ahead with that. So we'll have to see how responsive they are. But I am pushing. You guys know I'm a go-getter, and I don't give up, and I'm pushing hard. But and the other great thing is, I'm talking too much, so Joel can do this, but we hit the big 100 today. So we could just sum that up pretty quick.
Yes. So discoverdash.com is a website that we've been working on building out to basically be the one-stop shop for new merchants, users, etc. Once people want to, how do I get involved in Dash? Where can I use it? How do I use it for my business? They go there, right? We haven't built up many of the articles, but we have listed our first 100 verified businesses as of today. And the good thing about that is these are all verified, right? The Dash forums, I went through those old listings, and I think there's over 100 in that, in the Z Maps thing in the Dash forum. There's so many different listings out there, all of them wildly inaccurate, right? Half the ones I went through on the Dash forum didn't even take Dash anymore, or were, and then another third or so just were offline, didn't even exist. So have been going through emailing businesses, checking listings, all those kinds of things. So the 100, these are legit businesses. These are ones that you can go spend your Dash on now. It's verified. Not, well, someone added a listing and we don't know if it's accurate. And that's going to be a massive competitive advantage for Dash in the future, because Bitcoin doesn't have that. Bitcoin has some massive listings, but none of them are accurate, especially how many of them are accurate over the last few months with these massive fees and delays. Who's actually using Bitcoin? I know a few business owners myself who have stopped using Bitcoin because of this. I mean, BitCart is the big vocal one on Twitter, but a local brewer, he stopped using Bitcoin because it's too expensive. So this listing will only grow if you want to contribute, and please do. If you know some business who owns, or you are this business owner yourself that does take Dash or wants to take Dash, discoverdash.com/submit. That's it. And big thank you to everyone who's been doing this. And I want to do a little shout out to Joshua that we were talking about later. From what I hear, and of course, correct me if I'm wrong, but Joshua's now working full time for the Dash core team. So congratulations on joining the family, and not, obviously you were helping out in the past, but now we get to enjoy your talents full time as we take this wind train all the way to mass adoption and financial freedom for the world.
Yeah, quick shout out also to Macrochip, Troy Dash, the whole mod squad, Joe. Everybody's just been doing a great job. I'm very impressed with everybody.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be part of what we're part of right here. And I'm very happy for what pretty much, I mean, no one's perfect, no community's perfect, but this is a pretty damn good one, right?
I don't know, we do a pretty good job.
Yeah, there's very few complaints. Obviously, there's always room for improvement. There's other projects out there that are great and have great teams that are doing great things. I'm just happy here. I just want to say that. And oh, Joshua's working with Chuck. But maybe I can get both of them on a podcast.
What a great combination. I want to see a guest article from both you guys on Dash Force News. Make that happen.
Chuck owes me an article. Yeah, 2 articles. He's been teasing them for a long time.
Forever. But anyway, it's about time we stop rambling, get off. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We're going to re-upload this. We're going to repost this video in an article, short article for tomorrow as well, in case you missed it. But yeah, thanks to everyone for making the live chat a lively place to be. Thank you, Buster, for coming along and giving me the 1 token downvote. And it's been a great time. Thanks, guys.
Okay, well, yeah, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Help us grow. Share us. We're on Facebook as well, so we're on there. We're on Twitter, Facebook. You know the deal. Help us grow. And yeah. Like Joel said, thanks for stopping by. And also, please, if you do get the chance and you're on Twitter, go to Dash Force News and retweet that General Bytes one to put pressure on them. If they retweet that to their stream, obviously their operators are following them, so that will help them take notice of Discover Dash as well. And Discover Dash is only 1 month old as well. I just want to point that out. So Dash Force is
it's one of the
great things.
It's one of the many things we've been working on, right? I work 7 days a week. Probably Mark does as well. And it's not like, oh, I just need a vacation. It's just like I take a day off and I'm just like, I'm going to go back and see if I could
I had
patrol some Reddit comments
when I started this.
Yes. So anyway, thanks again. Have a fantastic weekend and go spend your Dash somewhere. Bye-bye, guys. Signing off. 3, 2, 1. Bye.
Oh, we're still live, Mark Mason. You better click